he would push the D pawn to make a 4.
Exactly. And see, and so then you're going to get your piece back, right? But let's back up a little bit. So what about in this position? Could he do it already? Would this work now?
No.
Why not?
Yes.
I mean, yes.
It's not quite the same because when you make the fork, guess what? There's 2 pieces attacking that pawn. And he could just take it. So that's why back here, he played c6. He's getting ready for his trick, right? So what do you think white should do to prevent that trick?
Not take.
Well, you can now that you still lose a pawn.
His bishop, white bishop to d3.
Retreating the bishop is the right plan, and d3. That's probably just as good as the move got played, but you had the right idea. So he backed his bishop up, so there's no more trick, right? All right. So now normal moves, castles and castles. Now here, if I'm looking at this position, I'm thinking like I'm going to move my bishop. I think, like I might play this, or maybe I move my knight, something like that. I might even make a queen move because that way I get ready to push this pawn. But that's not what our hero does. Our hero makes another pawn move. And so what's he trying to do?
Trying to get his rook out?
Well, the rook actually does move in a little bit, but the main idea is that this bishop here doesn't have a whole bunch of squares.
So he wants to attack it?
Yeah, right. So this would be like a bad move for white because all of a sudden these pawns are just going to be squashing these pieces. So white needs to stop that pawn from coming any farther forward. So what's an easy way to stop that pawn?
Rook pawn to A4.
A4.
I agree. Everybody's on the same plan. Good. Now, once again, remember this Canadian just has such a different style. Does he move his bishop out here? No. Does he move a knight? No. He makes another pawn move. This is starting to look his pawns. I don't know. This whole line of pawns looks like like a dragon on Chinese New Year's or something, right?
No.
But he has a really interesting plan coming up. So we're going to make a couple more moves. First of all, he would like to put this bishop here, and then he'd be attacking a queen and a rook. So white's not going to let that happen. And when his queen gets attacked, he moves his queen to safety. So let's have everyone. Some of you haven't had any suggestions yet. So you're looking for a move for black. And black is going to move one of these back row pieces. So what do you think black's going to do?
Move his rook. His A8 rook.
You're right. Congratulations. Yeah, because he's made all these pawn moves. And so now when he moves the rook could see like all the way down the board, right? It can see halfway because he made all those little pawn moves. So that's kind of a cool rook move, and it's really different. And so after the knight comes out, he makes another little pawn move. And so now the rook can see even further. So I like showing this game because black's play is just so different. And now at this point, white's starting to get almost angry. Like, how can this guy play all these strange moves against me? Well, he's just going to keep playing and putting all of his pieces in the center because like that's what good players are supposed to do, right? And black moves his king. And now white has a plan. He's made a battery with his queen behind the bishop, right? And so he wants to send the bishop down here to take away one of the defenders of the black king. And our hero doesn't want that bishop to go to that square. So how's he going to protect that square again?
He's going to move his
knight G8.
Correct. Okay, and that's a better move than knight G4. Knight G4 also protects the square, but you just get Dabutsky and it doesn't work, right? So he wants to protect the square, so he plays knight G8. So White is going, you can't play this way against me. I'm going to get you. I'm going to put all my pieces in the middle and then attack. Or so he thinks. And black makes another little move, keeping everybody behind his smooth pawns. And is this an attacking move? Does he want to play h5? Well, he does. He wants to play h5. But Grandmaster Subtle's the Canadian. He doesn't want to do that because then this square is weak. So he makes a different plan. He moves his pawn just one square. So that way, if this pawn advances, he can get past it. He can play g5. So white decides, okay, I'm going to bring some more pieces over to the king side. I'm going to go get that king because black's playing this strange style with all of his pawns in a big line. Okay, the bishop backs up and he thinks everything's safe. And the bishop's pointing at the king side. Look at black. How do you like these knights? At least, even though they look strange, they're doing a good job of defending the black king, right? Mother piece by the king. Charge! Well, how are we going to get him? Do you notice how many pawns have been traded so far? How many pieces have been traded? We need to defend. We're up a piece, but we're being attacked. So how do we defend that pawn? Let's. Oh, that's an
Knight
idea.
F8.
Okay, correct. Who is that said that?
Me, Logan.
Logan. That's correct, Logan. And you can defend it with the rook, but this doesn't work because you have your queen in front. And so it's too expensive. When he takes, you get to take the queen, right? And here white would be way ahead. So the correct idea is another one of those sneaky retreating moves. He plays knight f8 to defend the pawn. And white can't stand it and just keeps attacking. So he's going to send another pawn on the attack. And we have take and takes. Now, for the first time in the game, black is actually going to make a small mistake. So let me tell you what black's plan is. Black wants to attack this pawn again. It's attacked once right now, and it's defended once, but he wants to attack it twice. And he chose the wrong way. So I want the class to look. You want to attack that pawn. Which one of your pieces should you use to attack it a second time?
I think you should use your rook.
Rook C.
Rook c4 is one way to attack it. What's another way to attack it?
Queen G7.
Correct. Those are the two ways. So the choice is between rook c4 and queen g7. And queen g7 actually looks kind of cool because if we put the queen on g7, it'll also be looking at this pawn here, which is undefended. So what should we do? What's the right way? It's hard to tell the difference. I think one way to think about it is that, he chose the wrong move. Those of you that said rook c4, you were correct. Rook c4 is the correct move. And one of the reasons is if you take this, then you'll be attacking his queen also. So he chose to move his queen, and there turns out to be a problem. And the problem is He attacks it again, and his queen gets attacked. So now he has to move his queen. And so white's starting to get an attack again. So we're looking for a way to save this bishop. Seems like we want to move it. But how about a counterattack?
Rook takes d4.
Okay, let's look. That certainly looks good. Rook takes d4. Let's see what my plan is. So my queen's attacked. And I'm going to go... I'm going to play queen e3. Now your bishop's being attacked, and if you move it back, I'm going to take your rook. Yeah, this one is pretty dangerous. I don't. So you did get to attack the queen, but it was too soon, right? And so here, this is a really fancy move. Let's figure out what's the idea behind this move. He's leaving his bishop being attacked. Like, why would he? Why would he do that?
I don't really know completely, but I think then take the bishop with check and maybe win the rook.
Yes, you're very close. Okay, so if white takes this bishop, the thing is you don't take the bishop right away. What you do instead
takes pawn.
Is you take the pawn that just took your bishop with the queen?
No, actually, you take this other bishop over here first. See, and that makes the queen move away, and then you get to say check, and you get to take his other rook, and when it all clears out, you've got an extra knight, right? I mean, that's some complicated, that's hard to analyze all that. But so what we can do is we can just appreciate that he's really playing sneaky when he plays this move. This knight g6 is a very nice move. And so now the play is going to continue. So white sees that trap and he retreats his bishop. And now black decides, well, I need to get rid of some of these attacking pieces. So again, he sacks a rook, and this time he gets a pawn. So just for fun, let's figure out what the point count is on the board right now if we count up everybody's points. So how many points does white have? He's got 2 rooks, that's 10, right? And a queen makes...
Oh,
26.
I think
27.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 26, 27, I got? Is that right?
Yeah, 27.
Yeah, because the pawn went down there.
down 2 pieces.
27.
Well, black has 18 and 8. He's got 26, so he's down 1 point, right? And I'd like to share something interesting about looking at these kind of positions, because something's going to happen with the queens here in a little bit. So we always say the queen's worth 9 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's number's been the same ever since I was your age, since I was in school. It's always been 9 points for a queen. But the super chess program that the Google Corporation made, AlphaZero, when it does its calculations, it says the queen is worth 10. And now you think, well, so what? Why does this computer get to change how much a queen is worth? But the thing is, it's the best chess playing thing on the planet right now. So in a little bit, when one of the queens gets traded, we're going to see if the other queen is really worth 10 or not. Okay, so what happens? We have a capture. And black's getting all of his pieces protecting each other. He retreats. Here they come. This is starting to look a little crowded over here, isn't it? All these pieces are like in front of the white king. That's going to turn into some trouble. Check. No check. Let's see. We're attacking the knight twice. Oops, that arrow's not working. We're attacking with the queen. We're attacking with this. What should we do? Check. Uh-oh. We'll take it.
Black. I mean white. White because it's castle.
Hey, we're attacking both of the rooks. Neat.
Ooh, look at this. Our queen's being attacked. What should we do?
We should attack the rook by moving our 7.
What's your suggestion? You want to play queen?
D7.
Queen d7. Okay, and then you're still attacking the other rook with your bishop, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find a problem with that. That's a good suggestion. So your queen's being attacked, so you decided to move your queen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this is equally good. I think this is just as good as what he played. Because what he decided to play in this position was he took the rook. Because when his queen gets captured, he takes the other rook. And so now this is where I was talking about. We get this weird point count.
The pawns, the black diagonals, those black diagonals right through it.
Yeah, and the black king is really safe. The black king is almost like hiding behind this pawn, right? Okay, so what's white going to do? White's going to try to attack things with his queen. And black is going to come after this king, and he's running away. And he's getting ready to check him. What are we going to do? Check. Back he goes. Now the black king doesn't look so safe. Check.
White,
White gets... Let's see, he could check on f7.
white, I think it's white because white's queen has an open file.
The white queen does have lots of open squares, but eventually it's going to run out of checks, you know? Let's look at some.
Quiet Roman. You thought you said it.
Okay, so there's a different there's two places white could check here. And black needs to do something differently depending on where he checks.
Yeah.
So if I check you on this square, what are you going to do? Are you going to want to take this pawn?
Rook E7.
Rook back. Good. I like that plan. Okay, but if I check you on this square, you got to do something different, right?
Take the pawn.
Correct. And the knight does a really good job of protecting the king because it's stopping both the queen checks, right? I mean, there's nowhere to go with this queen. All right. So that's not where he went with his queen. He said check, and then he went here and attacked the bishop. Check. The king moves. And bishop h4 attacks the queen again. And the queen retreats, and king takes. Now, in this position, the Russian grandmaster resigned, which is way too early. But what I would like to do is I think that some of the students could practice playing this position because it'd be a good practice to play the 3 minor pieces playing against the queen. And let's see, how could I set that up? Well, I'll set that up for the students. But that's the end of the game that I wanted to show for our first lesson. And so that was Suttles, who was from British Columbia, and I wanted to show because he had such an unusual style. And we had these really super strange looking positions like this one.
They're making moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
It's just really slow.
We could try to play that way, but I think it would be pretty risky. I don't think that's the way I'd want to play. All right, so here's my plan. At this point, I'm going to go back to the room, and we're going to see who wants to sign up for another class. It'll be on a different game. I'll show one of Yasser Sarawan's games. He's a local Seattle grandmaster, and all of you are welcome to sign up for that one, or you can play games with each other on Lee Chess. But right now, I'm going to go back and check in with Coach Steve. So, did everybody have fun watching that game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had fun.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And you're all welcome for my next class, which will probably start in 5 minutes, as soon as we get signups. So I'll see you back at the Seattle Chess Club site.
Mom, come. He's doing another one in 5 minutes.
Hey, Coach Steve.
So what do you need to know?
So
I don't know if I
I
should
told
do
him that